Welcome to Keep It Humane, the podcast, where we dive deep into topics surrounding kindness, compassion, and creating a more humane world, whether it's in our communities, in the workplace, or in the world of animal control and shelters. With our hosts,
Ashlee Bishop
and Ashlee Bishop.
And I'm Daniel Ettinger. This show is sponsored by Tomahawk Live Trap. Check them out, livetrap.com.
Very, very slightly not bad.
You know what else is not bad? The three of us are back together. All we have to do is just get you bit, and then you're here every week.
Right?
Jesus.
So this is my normal weekend off.
Oh, so you would have been here no matter what. Well, welcome to another episode of Keep It Humane. You know, this is our season finale. We get a break. For those of you that don't know, we record almost every week, unless you're Wisconsin Bishop and you're working at the Mule Den. The Mule Den is a coffee shop located.
Okay.
That would be a cool name for a coffee shop, though. The Mule Den. No, just me. Okay. How are you? How are y'all doing? How is life?
Wow.
Yeah.
My stitches itch.
Are you going to take them out live on the podcast?
Do it.
If I had the sanitized tools right here, maybe, but no.
Do you have an autoclave at your house?
I wish, but no.
Okay, good. That's good.
I mean, that would be pretty cool, but
it's going. It's actually cold in Texas this morning. I'm very
okay. Oh, whoa. Hold
okay,
on.
No. I don't want to hear it. Okay, Lee,
what is
I don't
cold?
Okay, hold on.
I would agree. It's cold here in California too.
Let's see here.
It's 53.
It's 59 here.
It is fucking 39 here, guys.
Well, we got to check with our guests and see what it is in Ohio. Dr. G, good morning.
Good morning. It's 46 degrees, so it's not too bad.
Not too bad. For those that don't recognize that voice, then you've missed some episodes that we've had because she is one of our favorite returning guests and guests in general. That's Dr. G from the Animal Welfare Junction podcast, or you might know her from the Rascal Unit. So we have a wonderful, wonderful episode coming up. Like, it is honestly the work that she's done on this case and in her season that she's doing on the Animal Welfare Junction, which you can get everywhere that you get podcasts. It's incredible. So I can't wait to jump into that.
I just downloaded it.
Are you going to listen while you're on with us?
Absolutely, Dan. I can totally. My ADHD allows me to multitask like that.
One earphone in here, you know. So, Mooney got you. All of you know this, but for the listeners, Mooney got his ear bit off, and it bled so bad. Like, it's crazy when it happens to you when you're in this industry, because like I didn't realize it until the person was like kind of far enough away that I didn't want to like run up on them and be like, "Hey, your dog bit my dog." I probably could have, maybe I should have, but I didn't. And yeah, it was nasty.
I think we need to clarify. Yes, he literally is missing a piece of his ear, but it is not his entire ear. It's maybe an inch? Not
even. It's like a quarter.
Okay.
Of an inch. But
you did say he bit it off.
I know, it's for dramatic effect.
He lost his whole ear.
You have to dramatize it because otherwise people would just be like, so what? It's just a little nick. Like, yeah, he looks like Evander Holyfield.
No. Because anybody in this industry knows ears bleed. Like, they're just all over.
I'm going to joke that he is a TNR dog. That's what he was. Yeah.
Please stop.
You know what? Let's just jump in. Before I do, though, check out Dr. G's website, forensics.vet. Forensics.vet. You can see all the stuff there and find the podcast right there. It's pretty easy. Hi, Dr. G.
Hi.
How are you doing in Ohio?
Doing good. I mean, trying to stay warm, but I'm staying busy.
So y'all are heading up for the winter season, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We get snow followed by mud.
Yep. That's actually fairly accurate.
Right.
Dr. G, before we even start, I had this epiphany and I want to just put it out there now because I don't want anybody to steal it. So I want it to be like trademarked by this conversation.
Oh boy.
Because that's how that works. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
I love it when Dan.
Somebody out there is writing stuff down.
I love it when Dan comes at us with like completely random shit on the podcast too, because you never know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Well, Dr. Like, I love the Rascal Unit and the name and the meaning behind the name and all that stuff. But can we just, and I'll be a, I guess I can't be a silent partner in the rebranding. I'll be a investing partner in the rebranding, and then we can take this, we can make it global. We'll just call it the Price is Right spay and neuter clinic, because that Bob Barker, that's what his whole thing was on the Price is Right game show. He would always be like, please have your pet spay and neutered. So like, why isn't there a low cost clinic like the Rascal Unit or something called the Price is Right? What is wrong with people?
Well,
Why are
I
you
think,
putting?
well, and no, well, no, but here, let me tell you this. The Price is Right would be dependent, right? Because it's all dependent on the individual. So our price is right for majority of people, but there are still people that cannot even afford our prices.
Mm,
So it's not right for them. So to
good
say the
point.
price is right is very global.
No, that's a good
So
point. I just thought it would be like a catchy marketing thing, and you could ask them if you could even use the logo, and then maybe they would fund it like some of these other big organizations.
How
I
about,
just
how
throw
about
random stuff out there. That's all.
how about the price is better?
I mean, we know it's better.
The price is-
All right, that's enough of
The
my
price is
jargon.
better. The price is better, and the quality is great.
This is
thank you for that. Because
that is,
it's not cheap.
Yes.
but it's better.
It's affordable, not cheap.
Yes.
There
Well,
you go.
look, I know I like to joke, but we have a series episode. We really do. This is I'm super I mean, I'll just say I'm super happy to say like this is the way I want to close out a season is an awesome episode like this. And you had and have you have a current you're calling it a season, right?
Yes.
On your podcast again, that is the Animal Welfare Junction. And it's all about it's basically a true crime style podcast about a dude named I guess I'll call him a dude. I don't know. A punk? Can I say is that wrong to say it
Yeah.
that way?
Yeah. I
Uh
called him a punk in court.
okay, perfect. So
Spice.
Sure.
case law then essentially. He's now a punk uh named Steffen Baldwin. And I didn't know anything about him, and you were really good about keeping it to the vest, if you will, because I remember you and I were having some conversations offline, and you would hint to it like I can't wait to till this case is over, like I want to. There's a lot I want to talk about, and holy shit, like I kid you not, and I know Texas Bishop and I kind of shared some stuff on it, and Wisconsin Bishop's catching up on it because she's been busy working at Target for the holiday season. So,
And the coffee shop.
yeah, the Mule Den. Um, but no, it is phenomenal. And it's ultimately like, is this real life? And so I'd love for you to just kind of jump in and let our listeners know how you got involved and how you even met this punk.
Yeah. No, and one thing that I do want to say is I am doing the best that I can because I'm not a, video producer or anything like that. So it's taken a long time. I started this back in March, and here it is, November, end of November, and I only have 6 episodes out of 10. So it's been really intensive because there's so much. And even everything that I have unpacked on these episodes doesn't even begin to touch everything that happened and everything he did. But going back to the very beginning, for anybody that doesn't know what I do, right? So I do high volume sterilization, primarily wellness care, just low cost stuff in general. And at that time, I had a hospital, the Rascal Animal Hospital, which provided 24-hour care, including emergency care. And we did a lot of work for rescues, right? Because it's necessary, it's needed for them to be able to take care of their animals. And um, because of what I do, I get invited to speak here and there at different seminars. And I was asked to go speak at a seminar on the medical issues that you find in animals from puppy mills. And, just basically kind of letting people know, the hair, the nails, the eye problems, all of those different things. And Stefan, that's the first time that I ever met him. He was invited to come in and speak because he was a humane agent for a county here in Ohio, Union County. So he came in and he presents himself really well, so you got to give him credit as far as his presentation. He speaks very well. He seems very knowledgeable. He seems caring. He seems passionate about being a humane agent and animals. And with what he was doing, it seemed like a perfect partnership for me to provide the medical side of it and for him to provide the humane agent side of things. And that's how things basically got started with him.
I I just my take on this, like from what I was listening to, and not just you specifically, like because there's audio of him having interviews as well. And where did you, was that from multiple, like, was it different YouTube interviews? How did you get podcasts?
Yeah, so I did a search, a lot some of the things were from how do you say TV shows that we were involved with. Like we sponsored a segment on a news channel that was primarily for promoting rescues and animal information and that kind of stuff. So he did multiple interviews during those, which we had because we were promoting it. And then, yeah, I just searched the internet for anything and everything that he did because one thing he loved was attention. So he was constantly looking for, people to showcase how great he was.
And the vibe that I would get when listening to him talk felt like maybe he thought his relationship with you was different than it actually was. And truly, Dr. G, and I don't know this to be true because you and I haven't really unpacked all of it. It truly felt like he was using you from everything that I heard. I don't know about you, Texas Bishop, if that's how your vibe was too.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think, from the first, before, Dr. G does that mic drop in one of the episodes, you just get this feeling of, and I have to say, I have met people like this. I have met people like this in the field. I have met people like this in the industry. And I got the sense that he thought Dr. G was going to go ahead and get pulled into what he was already doing and not have an issue.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I was a means to an end because he wanted popularity. He could get that because we were really well known and he wasn't. So anything that he did with us and with me was going to get a lot of attention. And then he was getting free services for a lot of stuff. Um, and yeah, I mean, it just helped him catapult to the fame that he got here in Ohio and even in other places because there were other states and even some other countries that asked him for help. But what what we started doing was with animal cruelty and neglect, we started working with some hoarding cases that were supposed to get us, help the animals, help the people, and then let donors and sponsors know, hey, this is what we can do with the money. And they can see immediately that their money is being used towards the animals. And nothing came about from that. So, he didn't really promote it. We didn't get any money. We spent all the money that our charities had, Rascal Charities had, and that was, it's almost like a series of check marks. And I think I do that during the episodes
Yep.
that I said, okay, so hoarding cases, nope, because I really wanted this to work because I thought that it had great potential. But you cannot do good when you're greedy and you have bad intentions and you're just completely self-centered, right? So yeah, we worked on things like that. Then he started shifting into being this pit bull whisperer.
Mhm.
And that's when things really started getting spicy because he thought that he could sell himself as this person that can save any dog from death row. And that's what he was looking for. He was looking for animals that had high publicity, right? So people that were saying, "Oh my God, like Thor is in this shelter and they're going to kill him because he allegedly bit three people." And then he would come in and say, "Oh, I can help him," and take him and get pictures and take him to his yard and get pictures and video and say, "Look how good a dog he is." And then, allegedly find him a home, and everybody just thought that he could rescue and save every dog. So people started paying him to take dogs that they couldn't find homes for.
And that's what led you to Remy or Remy to you? Is that how that kind of got started? And
Yeah.
do you want to give the
Well,
backstory on Remy a little bit, maybe?
yeah. And one of the things that is important to say is that by the time that I dealt with Remy, I had stopped working with him.
Okay.
Because there were, with the dogs that he was trying to rehabilitate, he was constantly getting bit. He was
Yeah.
constantly having problems and issues with these dogs, and he was euthanizing dogs. And I agreed with some of the dogs that he euthanized for the reasons that he gave us, right? He said this dog attacked somebody, this dog killed the dog, that kind of stuff, it's for the benefit of the dog. So I didn't have an issue with the reasons, and I didn't have a reason to believe that he was lying about it. um, but over time, we did a big fundraiser. He stole all the money,
Mm.
over $14,000.
Wow.
Um, and and it and then he owed us close to $20,000. We barely charged him for stuff,
So that
and
was
he still had,
the vet services
yeah,
he owed you. Wow.
yeah, that was the discounted stuff that he owed. So, like my manager sat with him and said, "You got to pay on this bill. We can't keep charging stuff up." I was like, this is not going the way that it's supposed to go. So come December 28th, um, he brings of 2015, I believe this is. He brings in this dog, or 16. He brings in Remy, who is this big red pitty that very high publicity as well. He was deemed a dangerous dog for biting a couple of people, and the bites were not serious at all. Like one bite was because somebody put their hand inside of his run to grab a peanut butter Kong, right? So, and big, strong, powerful dog, and this
Mhm.
person just had little scratches. And on the YouTube, people can see the picture is the actual picture of the guy's hand. So because of all this, the dog is deemed dangerous, and this lady and her husband who own a rescue, so Litsa and Angela Cargacos, they wanted to help Remy. So they got attorneys, they got all sorts of stuff, and they get Remy out of the shelter. And they had Remy for months, rehabilitated him, did a really good job with him. He was not people aggressive. He got along with their other animals. Um, but Remy had a history. Remy had issues, and he had that dangerous dog designation. So Stefan tells them, I can get that dangerous dog designation removed from him, which you can't, but they don't know. And so
Hmm.
he said, for that, you need to just give me Remy and take him. I need to take him to Union County. And he takes him with him, does the shtick of the pictures, the videos, all the things, and on December 28th, and I am backtracking a little bit. I didn't know any of this Remy background other than I had heard about the dangerous dog designation and that kind of stuff, but I didn't follow Remy's story with him because I didn't care about him at that time.
Hmm.
So he brings Remy in and says Remy killed another dog, and because of his dangerous dog designation, he has to be euthanized. Okay, so we euthanize the dog. And months later, I see on Facebook a message. It was basically a post with a reward, and I think it was the one with the reward saying reward for information on what happened to Remy. And the comments are really inflammatory, as you would expect, because people are really upset that Remy disappeared, that nobody knows what happened to Remy. And it's because he kept telling Litsa that Remy had been with a foster. The foster didn't want to return him. And, Remy's alive this whole time when Remy was dead. He goes as far as getting a new license for the dog after he's dead, just to prove that the dog's still alive. So she realizes that the dog has been euthanized, and she assumes that it's me because I worked with him, but doesn't know. And on the post, there are people saying like, like fuck that vet, burn that vet down, that vet
Jeez.
needs to get euthanized, like that the kind of stuff that you see from people that are really, like emotional
Hmm.
about these cases. And I see that, and I'm like, shit. like I had no idea about anything of this. So immediately I contacted her and I said, "Hey, I euthanized your dog. What do you need to know?" And we started talking, and it's kind of, how do I say, like it was very, she really appreciated getting the information about what really happened, because she had no idea. She didn't know if he had been killed, if he had died a horrible death or anything like that. So even though we can't bring him back, at least she knew that he was
What happened?
euthanized, he was sedated, he didn't
Some
suffer during that process.
some closure.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. And then she had already started getting a police officer to investigate the crime, because at that point it was just fraud, right? Like he took her money and said that he was going to do a service that he didn't do, and he killed her dog. So that's how things started, and the
Dr. G,
detective got involved. Mhm.
Dr. G, was he trying to say the dog was still alive to continue to collect money on the dog? Like, or was that like his intention, or was his intention like, I'll collect the money, euthanize the dog, and then, and I hate to use this word, but then like there's no overhead, so all the money is his.
It's a combination of things. The money was his anyway, because he wasn't doing anything with these dogs, right? He was taking the money and he was blowing it on himself and other people. So it was a combination of continuing to take money, but also maintaining his reputation that he can save every dog. Because if he says that he euthanized Remy, then he's a failure, right?
Mhm.
So that's 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 where keeping Remy alive, it benefited him. And yeah, and this detective, Jim Conroy from Mahoning County, he started investigating, and he saw, everything that he looked, our name showed up, like my name showed up.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, obviously she has to be in cahoots with him. So he came down and sat down with me. And I was like, dude, whatever you want, whatever you need, you can have. You can talk to my whole staff. You can have all our records. Like, you don't have to subpoena anything. And he investigated everything that we do, me personally, the hospital, the unit, the charities, everything and anything. And he realized that we were a victim and not an accomplice of what
Yeah.
he was doing.
Yeah.
Was that like a real quick turn, Dr. G? Like, or did that take some time? Because I can only imagine, now with, how people react to certain situations that they don't know the whole full story to, what was that turnaround like for you? And kudos to you. It says a lot about your character, Dr. G, not only as a veterinarian, but as a person, to be like, hey, this is what happened. I just want to let to the owner of the dog who had took it in, was that turnaround really quick? Or did it take some time?
It was relatively quick. And Lisa even says that she was really mad at me. She was really angry at me because I killed her dog. And then she understood what happened, and that's what helped her heal. And I would consider her a friend now,
Yeah, you were swindled 100%.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. No, exactly. And she didn't know this. And again, like when I contacted her, I completely expected her to be pissed. So, but that's not it, right? It's not about me. It's about her knowing what happened to her dog, because I never knew that the dog had someone to go to. So had I known that, I would have made different decisions, right? So it's uh, one of the things that I said in court is that I was used basically as a weapon to kill this dog.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm.
the process overall, as far as the detective realizing that we were not involved, was relatively quick.
Good.
He even says that after that meeting, he was pretty convinced, because I didn't have
Mhm.
anything to hide, right? And I was just very, very honest and very open to everything. And the investigation, that he started, we called his episode "The Rabbit Hole,"
Mhm.
because he thought that, okay, first it was just Remy, then he found out that there were a couple other dogs that may have the same story, and then he gets into all our records and starts finding all of this stuff. And it's like every turn he made, he found more and more and more things. So that's when he starts realizing that there's way more dogs than just three dogs, that he's stealing money, that he's using, using the money from the nonprofit for personal use, yeah, all sorts of stuff. It just blew up, and it took him about a year and a half or so to be able to get enough information to get a warrant. Uh, and then when he gets the warrant, I mean, it's almost like it would be interesting to see like a more like a movie slash documentary of how that little bit happened, because he has all the information. He has me asking Steph, because Stefan doesn't think that I'm involved in any of this, so he's still replying to my messages. So he's like, hey, can you find out when he's leaving,
Oh
because they
wow.
find out that he's picking up and leaving to California.
Hmm.
Hmm.
and and then we realize, okay, he's leaving on this day, and they have everything set up for that day. And then somebody drives by his house and sees that he's filling up a moving truck, and they're like, hey, I think he's leaving now.
To
And
hear
so,
to hear it on your
yeah,
episode from the
Hmm.
detective, like how
yeah,
he's outlining that, like if
yeah.
people need to listen to that one because it was exceptional, and like to then be able to him put the rush on it, like
Hmm.
that detective did a great job.
Absolutely. It was
Yeah.
such a hard, such a hard case because we all know dealing with animals becomes very difficult because there's a lot of gray area, especially when you don't have like, I don't want to say solid stuff, but it's just kind of
Hmm.
almost circumstantial in a sense,
Right.
whereas, God, just uh, what a season, Doc.
I
Thank
Really.
know.
you.
It's just it was amazing. It really was amazing. And I hadn't heard about anything about this case, and it seems like it really was a nationwide issue overall about, him having his fingers in all these things. And
Hmm.
kudos to the detective as well for taking it seriously because, we all know sometimes it doesn't get taken seriously, even if it's, not on if it's not so quote unquote gruesome, I would say.
Right.
Hmm.
No, exactly. Yeah, because it is animal cruelty.
Yeah,
However, it's not the animal cruelty that exposed to. It's
correct.
not, it's not somebody beating the animals or, that kind of stuff. Even though we do think that he harmed animals himself, but that wasn't even the thing at that point. It was just he's euthanizing these animals for no reason, to have somewhere to go. And then as everybody got close to him, he picked up and moved to California. And it took 3 years of doing all this research to actually be able to arrest him and indict him on, it was over 50 felony counts
Wow.
that they got him on.
In all this time that he was doing this in Ohio, he was also still a humane agent. Like, so he was double dipping in a sense, right?
Yeah, so he was a humane agent for his own organization. So yeah, so
Huh?
that's also in
Huh?
one of the episodes that kind of explains this whole thing that he did. He was the director of a humane society for many years, and that's what helped develop like people's trust in him, because he worked at this place as a director, so clearly he must be legit. And he didn't want to do his job as a director.
Mhm.
He wanted to do his job. He wanted to be a humane agent. So he becomes a humane agent. The shelter is like, dude, we don't need you as a humane agent. We need you to be a director. You said you were going to
Mhm.
bring funds. You said you were going to do all these things, and you're not doing them. So what he does is he creates his own nonprofit, which is the Animal Cruelty Task Force of Ohio, and he becomes a humane agent for that organization. So the Union County courts allow for there to be basically two county humane societies
Wow.
that can have humane agents. Um, so yeah, so that's how he did that. And again, that's how he gained credibility, because he has this nonprofit, Animal Cruelty Task Force. He's a humane agent sworn by Union County, and you know, he knows how to play the game. He knows how to play the system.
That's what you call a con artist.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, on the
Oh,
story with Remy, Dr. G, I don't want you to give too much away because we really want
Mhm.
people to go listen to your episodes because they really are eye-opening. And, was there ever a reason on why, like why he did what
So
he did?
So he basically, what he was doing is he had a limited amount of space for dogs.
Mm.
right? And every new dog brought him more money. So the game became, I need to bring this dog in. I need to get rid of a dog. So do I have somewhere for the dog to go? No, then the dog is getting euthanized
Even
or
Wow.
worse.
killed or whatever. So
So
that's what became the game.
he's basically it was a Ponzi scheme for him. So
Yeah.
he would
Hmm.
say, I'll take this dog, you have to pay
Hmm.
me, and then he's
Yeah.
going to euthanize one to make a little space or at least euthanize. Wow.
That's
Right. Exactly.
disgusting.
It is really disgusting. What he was doing was horrible. And then he was posting that the animals were adopted. So, a lot of the animals that we didn't euthanize, I thought that they did find homes,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
that's what he was doing. And he was charged with telecommunications fraud because he was using Pet Finder to post
Huh.
these animals as adopted.
Wow.
So, yeah, for anybody out there that wants to use the internet to lie, it's a felony, just FYI. So
And
yeah,
once it's out
so
there, it's out there.
once it's out there, it's out there. You think you scrub it, but it it don't get scrubbed. So
Holy
so yeah,
shit.
so that's basically what was happening. And there are some really sad stories, especially like I only have 6 episodes out right now, and the sixth episode has the story of a dog that
Hmm.
had a place to live, and he
Hmm.
takes that dog because he had to get of another dog. So he switches them and he euthanizes a dog that he didn't have to euthanize. And he lies in the process about why the dog had to be euthanized. And he lies to the foster about what happened to the dog. So, it goes beyond criminal
Hmm.
as far as, the money and everything else is the lack of empathy, the lack
Hmm.
of caring
I was
about
just
the
gonna
harm
It's
that
say
he was
morals.
causing.
Mm.
he was
Yeah,
a straight up or is a straight up sociopath.
he is
Like,
a straight up sociopath. Yes.
yeah, absolutely freaking everything that I've heard from you and then the episodes, mind blowing. We didn't even get into the missing people yet. Like
Yes.
that's we didn't even get into that piece. So, and those are you got to go listen because he has a military
Hmm.
background,
Mhm.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's this piece where there's a woman in was it Maine or New Hampshire?
In shoot, now you're saying too
Too
many
many
places,
states
and now I
up
forgot.
there
Yeah,
in the New England area,
it's the New
Connecticut,
England area.
New Hampshire.
Northeast. Yeah.
But I forget what episode that one was in, if that was the rabbit hole or
That was the one with author James Renner, because
okay.
Hmm.
James Renner, who is an author from Youngstown, Ohio, he has been following this case. It's the
Okay.
case of Maura Murray, and I think that a lot of people that follow true crime, human true crime, are familiar with that case as an unsolved crime. So James Renner wrote a whole book on this, and while I was at the sentencing, there's this guy in the back typing, and I figure it's just some journalist. And when I walked out, he introduced himself and said, "Hey, I
Oh.
wanted to talk to you because I want to see if I can get some insight. I feel bad about everything that he's done, but I don't care about any of that. I have different things that I'm looking into that you may," and that's how I hooked up with him as far as learning a lot about Steffen's background and his childhood and that kind of stuff. So that's its own episode. I believe it's episode 3 that it's Who
Hmm.
is Steffen Baldwin?
Hmm.
That episode is just it's phenomenal. And it that I asked you this in text and I was just curious because him being a humane agent, and I know it's dark, and for those of you that are listening, you're gonna be like, why did you go there? But I was like, did he like because some shelters have the incinerator on their property. And so
Hmm.
then I'm starting to think like this woman goes missing and his mom, we don't even know where his mom is, by the way. Then I'm
Hmm.
like, did he have access to that means um if he did do something like that. It sucks that your mind has to go there, but the way the stories are
Mhm.
told, you're like, what was this dude capable of?
Yeah, no, and one of the episodes that is upcoming, there is somebody from England that deals with cases of human violence and that kind of stuff, and we break down like his psyche, right? Like the episode is going to be called "The Monster Behind the Mask" because he says that he was always wearing a mask, that he
Hmm.
was wearing this mask to pretend to the world, but he was behind that mask.
Mm.
So we just literally break down what um, it's there's a term called a dark triad, and it's a combination of really dark things. It includes being a sociopath, it includes narcissism, and it includes a third thing called Machiavellianism.
Oh,
And he fits all of those things. And it's just a combination that it's really damaging, right? Because it's all about him. He doesn't care who he hurts in the process, and he just wants everybody to know how great he is.
what's the Machiavellianism? Just because I'm a big Tupac fan, and he had an album.
Ah,
He had an album
I
called
didn't want to bring it up because I knew you were going to ask me, and I can't.
he had an album called Machiavelli, but the whole purpose of that album was because
It's
he faked his own death.
yeah, if and oh my God, I'm probably gonna get this wrong, but I believe that that part is basically the using other people for his own
Gain,
for his
kind of.
own gain
Yeah,
without caring about the consequences to that person.
yeah.
You got it right on the practical definition right there, Dr. G. That's what
Oh
it
my God.
is exactly.
And I'm
Well,
over here
because
like,
I have a degree in forensic psychology and I studied it, and then it's like, oh great, my instructors. Sorry if you're watching, I stuttered a little
I
bit, but I think I still got it.
think you got it good. And I'm over here like thinking like the old Machiavelli album, like Hail Mary, come with me. Those are no. But it is. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, not saying that it's true or it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does get tied to one of these missing persons at some point. Like, there would be zero shock, zero
Yeah,
Right.
shock.
agreed.
Yeah. No, there would just be the how do you say closure for the families.
Sure.
But I don't think that anybody really at this point would be shocked. In the next episode that I'm working on, episode 7, we talk about two other girlfriends that died,
Mm,
that we know that died, and he didn't directly harm them, but he was responsible for their deaths. So that's coming up on episode 7. This episode is taking me forever to do because it has, I want to be really, really careful about how I'm presenting the
Mm,
animals, and I want to do
sure.
everything caring with giving information so that people know about these animals. But now we're dealing with human beings as well that have family members out there. And the last thing that I want to do is offend or hurt these family members. So it's taking me a hot minute to get this episode out, but yeah, it's gonna discuss the harm that he did to people. Um, he stole from a homeless person. That's on this episode 7 coming up. So yeah, yeah, and it's yeah. Wait for it. It's coming soon, hopefully.
I'm at a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, it's just it really again, Dr. G, I think you do a beautiful job in putting all of this together. I think you're very respectful in every aspect of it, from the dog owners to, the stories that you bring up to the people that he's, impacted overall. It's just I feel for you too, Dr. G, to have to go through all of this for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, it sucked because again, it was like for me, it was a perfect partnership. If it had worked out, we would have done so much. Had he not been greedy, he still would have been able to do really well with what we were doing, right? But no, I mean, just again, greed got in the way, and he just wanted so much fame. And that's one of the things on the episodes is like he wanted to be famous. So here you go, buddy. I'm
You're
gonna help you be
famous.
famous. I'm gonna help you be famous.
Wow. Wow.
Mm.
Well, he is, and we're gonna get into some of that like here at the end. We usually have a segment where we chat GPT our guests, but we've had you on before actually many times, and people should know who you are. So uh I pulled up Stephen Baldwin. I guess he's a or Stephen Baldwin. I guess he's a famous actor if you just Google that or whatever. But then I just narrowed it down and I said Stephen Baldwin, Ohio, and it came up.
Well, because Stephen Baldwin is PH and Stephen Baldwin is FF.
Hmm.
So
That's what I did.
if you put Stefan and his middle name is Evan, so if you put Stefan Evan Baldwin, it helps you a little bit. And his actual legit last name
Mhm.
is Finkelstein.
Yep.
So he changed his last name from
Mhm.
Finkelstein to Baldwin, which is
I
a
mean, I
whole
would
story that we go into the James
Mhm.
Renner
if
episode
if
about
my
how he
last name
changed his
was
name.
Finkelstein, I'd probably change it too, but
But it's like, you know,
he changed
Baldwin
it
was
for
his
different
mother's
reasons.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baldwin was his mother's name, and he didn't really
Mhm.
like his mom. So why are you changing your last name to your mom's name? And then your mom disappears. So yeah.
Wild.
Wild. Wild. I want to, well, since I brought it up, let's read it. Bear with me. As you know, my reading skills sometimes have some issues here. So, according to ChatGPT, recent news in major developments, Steffen Baldwin. Conviction and sentencing. In January 2025, Baldwin was convicted on 32 of 39 felony counts, including animal cruelty, bribery, telecommunications fraud, tampering with records, grand theft, including firearm, and engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity. On March 11, 2025, he was sentenced to 15 and a half years in prison by Judge Daniel, don't call him Hulk Hogan. He will not be eligible for release until he has served at least 7 years and 9 months, so half of his sentence essentially. He is also banned for life. He is also banned for life from owning or caring for companion animals in Ohio. After his prison term, he will serve 5 years probation with restrictions including random drug screening, not leaving Ohio, and not being allowed to own a firearm. How the case unfolded, what he did. Baldwin was once a well known figure in the dog rescue world, presenting himself as a dog whisperer who could rehabilitate aggressive or behaviorally challenged dogs. Prosecutors say he misused his position. He took dogs and donations, but then euthanized many of them, sometimes unnecessarily, while raising money for their care, long after they were already dead. One high profile case, a couple, Leticia, how do I say her name?
Litsa.
Litsa,
Litsa.
sorry,
Lisa.
Litsa, if you were listening, I apologize. And Angelo gave him $1,000 and entrusted him with their pit bull Remy, who we were talking about earlier. He claimed to rehabilitate him, but later euthanized Remy instead. Investigators say he fabricated records and used social media to mislead people about the dog's progress and status. Investigation, there's a lot on this guy, so please be patient. Investigation. The case really came into motion because of Campbell, Ohio detective Jim Conroy, who investigated Baldwin's operation. Conroy's investigation included combing through 77,000 pages of evidence. So that included financial records, veterinary records, etc. According to prosecutors and media, at least 36 dogs were killed or went unaccounted for under Baldwin's care. Community and legal impact. Many in the animal welfare community are calling this case a huge betrayal. Baldwin leveraged his rescuer image to gain trust and money. During sentencing, Judge Hogan explicitly noted that Baldwin abused a position of public trust as a humane agent slash nonprofit leader to commit these crimes. The Union County Humane Society and Top Ohio Pet Shelter, where Baldwin held leadership roles, were deeply impacted by his misconduct. The victim family, Remy's owner, and other rescue advocates have expressed the sentence is a form of justice, though for many, the loss of animals is permanent. And then the last part here is broader true crime links. According to the Ohio Animal Advocates, there is a haunting connection. Baldwin's fingerprints were reportedly matched to a missing person. We talked about uh, Murray, right?
Mhm.
Mara Mary. Yeah.
Mara Murray. Uh, the details are complex and are part of a broader investigation. And so you cover that in one of your episodes where it's on a CD, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Well,
then,
and we don't know for sure. That's what
oh,
he said. He said that it's
oh,
on a CD. They have not released where this fingerprint, at least as of today that I know of, they have not released where the fingerprint was found. He is saying that it was on a CD that he gave her. That's why the fingerprint is there.
I'm going to just ask this question really quick. So I'm going to say to ChatGPT, would you trust him if you or with your animals? I'm just curious what AI would say. And they are going to tell me, come on. Based on everything documented about his conduct, no. I would not trust him with any animal. His pattern of behavior shows deliberate deception. He's manipulated trust. The actions weren't one-off mistakes. He caused harm for both dogs and people. Bottom line, anyone who repeatedly lies about the care, safety, and well-being of the animal and then exploits their vulnerability should never be trusted with animals again. Pretty funny, but true, accurate.
It is very accurate. Yeah.
Whew. What a case. Go check it out. Uh, the Animal Welfare Junction everywhere that you get podcasts. Like y'all got to listen to this. I binge watched it if that's a thing. Binge listened to it if that's a thing. It was
I
exceptional.
did. I couldn't stop, and I was like, "Is there another episode?" And I was like, "Oh no, there's not another episode. We got to wait for the next one."
We got four. We got four more.
It's really good, guys, honestly. And again, like I said, Dr. G does a huge mic drop, because I'm just here. I'm like, Dr. G's just, she's got this case that she knows about, and then mic drop. And I was just like, man, I just,
Well,
and unfortunately, I think Dr. G, you were at the right place at the right time, unfortunately, for a case like this. Um, just awful.
Yeah,
did
people tell me that they feel bad that I was
Hmm.
there, but I'm glad that I was there because I don't know what he would have been able to get away with if I wasn't there.
Yeah.
what was
You
his
know, like
demeanor like in court?
just quiet. But he would look at witnesses and smile at them and try to talk to them and be like really friendly. Like he tries to get into people's heads. Um, he looked at witnesses like red in the eyes as they were testifying, kind of like intimidating him, not intimidating them like looking angry,
Okay.
just making this like, like you can't say that about me, like I'm a good guy type thing. So he was manipulative the whole time.
Hmm.
He, I'm sure, was really annoyed with me because the only time that I looked at him was when the court asked me to identify if he was present. And I
And you
looked at him, I said
pointed.
what he was wearing, and that was the last time. Now I have amazing peripheral vision, so I could see him just fidgeting and just like flipping out in his chair because I wasn't looking. His attorney even stood behind him at one point, and I think it was to force me to look towards him. And you you can't get me with that, man. I
Imagine being that attorney too, like knowing this dude is guilty as sin and still
yeah.
having to try to defend his actions. Like what was the argument? What was the defense's
Hmm.
argument that he was not guilty of any of this?
Oh, I mean, it's hilarious because and it's sad because it everything had a reason. And I don't know how much of it I will include on it because there's just so much time. But he gives reasons to why every single count should be thrown out. And it's like, they never proved this, they never proved that. This wasn't a thing. This wasn't this other thing. He didn't do it. And it's like, dude. And so, yeah, it was just trying to place blame on others. Like with some of the animals, he tried to place blame on me,
Mm,
that I was the one doing some of the things. With the money that he stole from our charities, it was basically he never said that that money was ours,
mm.
so he didn't owe us anything type thing.
Mm.
So yeah, it's like all of these reasons. His attorney, one thing that he cannot say is that he was not well represented because his attorney did a good job at reviewing everything. It's like, dude, nobody can represent you because you did what you did was wrong, right? Like you messed up. So
Was
so
he?
yeah.
It didn't say obviously in the quick chat GPT, but was he ordered to pay any restitution?
No, because he declared himself indigent. So yeah, so that's how he was able, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of episodes, but there's this whole lengthy process to get to trial, and then trial gets rescheduled. And he had a really high-powered attorney at that point that was getting paid really well. And at that point, the that attorney retired. Like that was his last case.
Mm.
And he was going to retire once the case was done. Well, once the case got moved, the attorney was no longer representing him and he had to get another attorney. So at that point, yeah, he said that he was indigent and that he, obviously he can't get a job in Ohio. Nobody's going to give him a job. So they allowed him to move to Florida to live with his brother during the process while all of this was being done. And then he was given a public defender. But the public defender's office didn't just grab like some newbie that just graduated, kind of thing. They gave him a well-established attorney, and I believe that the head of the public defender's office was there, didn't do anything, didn't say anything, but was there just to make sure that everything you know, was done properly, because this is such a big case.
Such a big case. What a, honestly, what a wonderful like capture you did
Hmm.
and putting it all together in that true crime kind of format that it really had me engaged and
Oh yeah,
I think it's a must listen if you're in animal welfare and
absolutely.
yeah it's a must listen. I actually can't wait to find the next episodes when they come out, so I'm going to be looking for those for sure.
Thank you. And one of the things is for me, as putting this together, every time that I release an episode, I'm really nervous. Are people gonna kind of care about it, gonna like it or whatever? But again, I care more about the people that were involved. And usually after an episode goes out, the person that was involved in that episode reaches back and gives me feedback and, thanking me for the way that I presented what I did. And to me, that's really powerful
And
that
you're
those
yeah
who were harmed
Absolutely.
are,
Yeah. You're
um,
educating.
yeah,
And let's be honest, he's not the only one. Like there could be a
right.
rescue right now in Silver Springs, wherever that is, Arkansas, where somebody's doing that or whoever wherever, right? Like so you're educating
Right.
others by sharing too.
No, exactly. I mean, can't say much about it, but I'm working a case that's similar to him. So that'll be probably season two
Oh,
or three for the Animal Welfare
Jesus,
Junction.
Dr. G.
Somebody else. Now this one I was not involved. Like
Okay. I
I
was
learned.
like,
I just did the forensic part.
Okay.
okay.
So yeah, there'll be, but no, it proves the point that it does happen. It happens more often than it should, and people don't know. So yeah, I am hoping that with these episodes, they're, it's entertaining because that's why people listen to podcasts, is to kill time and be entertained.
Mm.
But more importantly, that they learn something and that they understand the, I say the sacrifices that everybody that was involved went through, because those animals died, and
Mhm.
we don't want their death to be in vain. We don't want their disappearances to be in vain. We want people to understand that these were great animals that unfortunately suffered through him. And the other feedback that I get is from people that knew about the case and knew what was going on and knew things, and they'll say, "Oh my God, I didn't realize that he did this too, that there was all of this additional stuff,
Mm.
that all of this went on to get from point A to point B." So it's even giving more information to the people that suffered through it to understand, because one of the things is the guilt, right, of people that believed him, that feel guilty because they believed him, and they think, I'm so stupid. No, you're not stupid. He's really good at what he does.
Hmm.
Like, I am I mad that he took advantage? Yeah, but I learned from it, right? So I have no guilt because I didn't do anything improperly. Like the things that he did, like that I did for him, I thought I was doing in good conscience. So my conscience is clear. And I'm hoping that with these episodes, anybody that thinks, you know, I'm part of it, I'm responsible, you were used.
Yeah, you were
So
not
it's not on
there's
you.
yeah, not like nobody was complicit that
Mhm.
from like what I've
There were some complicit people,
well, but
but
I mean from like
but
your side. Yeah,
none of the victims. Yeah,
like Remy's owners
right.
or you or your team or other like some of the other nonprofit organizations that he was
Hmm.
trying to like
Yeah, and the people that
manipulate.
donated to him and stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah,
What
no, exactly. Yeah.
what a just piece of shit. I'm just gonna
I know
say it.
it was a doozy of a case. It really was. And unfortunately, again, it goes back to why we're here, why we're trying to change the image of the dog catcher because people like this
Hmm.
still exist.
Hmm.
And it's really a shame because at the end, all it does is hurt our profession and hurt the animals that we're trying to care for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and understanding that we say often about you can't save them all,
Hmm.
and that's what he was monetizing is on the he could save them all. He even created a business called Save Them Dogs.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, right? Like he was pretty smart because he's like, oh, they're making all this money with Save Them All. I'm gonna do Save Them Dogs, which it it stands for STD, which is perfect for him, right? Save Them Dog, STD. So as
He,
soon as he did
he,
that, I
he
was
is
like, he is an STD.
he is
Jesus.
an STD.
Yeah,
Oh my
he is.
God.
Um, but yeah, that's what he was capitalizing on, is on people, we want to save them all. It's not about we don't want to, we just
Yeah.
understand that we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he took advantage of saying, I can.
Ugh.
Wow. Well, I encourage all of our listeners go check it out. I'm just wondering too, like, do you have any updates? You've been doing a lot for you recently, and I just want maybe you just shared like you were talking about your forensic stuff that you've been doing and the legal stuff that you've been doing. So I was just wondering if you wanted to share any of that with our listeners.
I mean, I have been honored to be invited to so many things, and it's like so cool. Like people that I highly respect are asking me to come in and sit with them and talk to them. So like the coolest thing that happened recently was I was invited to the animal law conference that is put up by the Animal Legal Defense Fund and Lewis and Clark University, and they asked me to come in and speak about my involvement in helping with an amicus brief, which is a letter that is sent in to the Supreme Court in support of the prosecution or the defense on a case that involved the if stray cats were basically companion animals because of somebody that killed a cat and said that it didn't fit under animal cruelty laws because it was a stray or feral cat.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And we were part of there were several groups that submitted these amicus brief, and the Supreme Court agreed that all cats matter, and they had me go to the conference to speak about what I did for that, the importance of veterinarians in the law, and the case in general, like how that one case made a huge impact for all cats in Ohio.
That's fantastic.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah,
so
that's
cool to
pretty cool.
watch, like just from afar, like to see. It's probably maybe hard for you to see it in your like perspective, like, and you're the type of person that is very humble. So like, but to see, I love like seeing things, whether like you're mentioned on a LinkedIn post or I'm seeing something where like you're getting honored. I think last year at HSUS or HFWA, uh,
Humane World for Animals, yeah,
Expo.
HWA.
Yeah, you got an award there. Like it's really cool to see you just continuing to do what we talk about all the time is help people, help animals, and I'm just honored to say you're a friend and just really cool to watch you contribute to this industry in the positive way, not the Steffen frickin' Baldwin or Finkelstein. I'm gonna just call him Finkelstein way.
Yeah, no, it's you don't I don't do this for the awards. I don't do it for the pat on the back. I'm very self-sufficient as far as like I just need to know that I'm doing something good. So I hope that other people will be will be helped and happy about what I'm doing, but that's not what I do it for. So when I get invited to do something like that or somebody gives me an award or whatever, it's more humbling, and it's really pushes me to do better because now I have to prove that I earned it, that I deserved it, you know.
Totally.
It's the ALDF gave me a Animal Defenders Award
Oh, that's
earlier in the
cool.
year,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, now I have to be a better animal defender, like. And Cleveland State has now an animal law program, and they asked me to go there. I went a couple of weeks ago for a panel teaching prosecutors about different things. So yeah, it's kind of neat being able to have all this experience and education and everything else, and then be able to do something with helping others so that we can all be better advocates for the animals.
I was going to make a football reference, and I'm going to still make a football. It's going to be really, really hard for me to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Um,
Is
because,
that a Steelers
well,
reference?
no, I can't. I can't because you're in Ohio. That's why it's so hard, and I have to go to the Cleveland Browns, and that's even harder. But you're essentially the Miles Garrett in the animal welfare world, where he's one of the best defenders in the league. And so when you said animal defender, that's kind of what I thought of. And uh, if there was a Hall of Fame for animal welfare, you'd already be in it, Dr. G. I really mean that. It's neat
Oh,
to see what you do.
stop
And
it.
no, I mean that. Like you're
I agree.
from the level of like the rescue, like the rescue unit, sorry, and like the that piece, and then the other side where you're doing like all the to me like
Forensics and the
yes,
judicial, and
yes.
you're an amazing human being, Dr. G. You
And
really
like
are.
I feel like you're gonna go back to school for something else. I think we were talking about that
I
too.
hope not.
No, I swear you were flirting with the idea of something. Um, and I forget what that was.
I'm constantly looking at stuff and it's like,
Yeah.
stop,
Stop, bro.
stop,
Just stop.
stop.
Well, we
Yeah.
appreciate you. This is the best way we could close out our season. So thank you for coming on to talk about that. And again, for our listeners, please check out the Animal Welfare Junction everywhere you get podcasts. And as we like to say, help people
Help animals.
and
Keep it